Okay. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Geeky Nomads. You already know me. I'm Yasser Masood.
And a very good morning from a very west side of the world, probably a corner of the world that I am in now, not the usual Doha, or the sunny Doha you see from, kind of in a sunny and a rainy Vancouver. And the very reason you see this is behind me. Welcome to the very first Web Summit, Vancouver. Remember, this used to be Collision in
Yes, it
Toronto.
was.
And last year at Toronto Collision, it was announced that it will be moving to Vancouver. And here we are at the very first Web Summit in the Northern Africa. So we got you covered the first Web Summit in the Middle East. We are getting you covered for the very first Web Summit in Northern America. Where shall we go next?
Who knows? I mean, I guess it depends where they'll take it up to. I mean, I guess unless they move it somewhere else in Asia, but I think that's on a hiatus for now.
I think we still have Hong Kong coming up. So that will also be interesting to see. And I think 2025 is the year where the Geeky Nomads are going to be at all the Web Summit activities. We did miss out on Rio, unfortunately. We couldn't make it there in time. But we still have Hong Kong and Lisbon left. And we'll try and make sure we get some action for you from there as well.
Yeah, Lisbon will be the key one because that's probably like right, almost stark in the middle between both the East and West. Well, not
And
stark, yeah, but it's not Lisbon. Yeah, exactly.
it's Lisbon, it's been there for years, the very first one. And it also brings in a lot different mixture of people and businesses and ideas that we don't get to see in maybe Doha, Vancouver, and Rio. Um, I think, given that, we will be definitely having a lot to talk about today, focusing on what Web Summit Vancouver brings for you or has in store. We're currently on day two. It's about 10 a.m., a sharp 10 a.m. as we kick off the day here in the exhibition area where I'm at now. It's a lovely setup. I was quite surprised how they have in such a short time and moving from Toronto to Vancouver and bringing in a whole different level of an exhibition and a conference and speakers, everyone together. From the open, I've seen them all over the years, to Doha in person, others online, and Vancouver was something else. Maybe
Of course
not
it
as
is.
yeah, it is. It's quite different, Yasser. Comparing to Doha, Doha we focus on how and what we want because Doha is still an upcoming establishment, as in for Web Summit and also for everything else. In terms of technology, yes, we have had QSTP around there for more than 10 years. We've got a foundation, local development banks pushing through startups, fintech, etc. Um, I feel when we come to the West Coast, whether it be somewhere in US or in Canada here, things are more established. People are already, the machine's already in motion. Everyone knows exactly what they're doing, what they want. The red tape kind of is challenging in the workplaces on how to get through things and get things done. There's a lot of, policies, politics, investments, like doing things happening, to make things happen,
And regulations.
and regulations. Because we might in Doha might be easier to control because the governing body is one governing body, right? You can easily make an understanding of what does the country needs because that's what the government decides. But when you come to the Western region, especially US and Canada again, um, you have an overview of what the country requires and needs, but then you again follow to a very high extent what does the state need, because every state follows its own requirements. Every state has its own regulations. AI might be thing in one, AI might be thing in something else, which I would love to get into in just a bit. But before that,
Mhm.
as usual, just on day two, so a lot of things are still fresh, a lot of things are still happening. But there are some really interesting facts that we have, or at least I have saved up over the last 2 days. 2 days as in we had the opening night and yesterday being a full day out here. Just the key highlights and to see what Web Summit Vancouver is so far. You ready for the answer? You know,
Oh, I think my ears are ready.
you know how the very first Web Summit Qatar was, and I think it kind of matches to that level of an opening Web Summit in Northern America. So, to what I have heard, the facts and the numbers that I have, we have over 15,000 attendees who are attending Web Summit Vancouver, and it's
That was
just
like
like
almost the first one
yeah, it's
in
just like
Qatar.
so in Qatar we almost had 15 to 16,000 somewhere around there, and then just like almost doubled up in year two. And I'm sure it's going to be the same thing out here because there's yeah, you have your Silicon Valley, you have your whole West Coast developing into technology and everything. You have the New York NY Tech conferences, etc., etc. But you don't have something as big as in Web Summit, which is purely focused on tech itself. No one's talking about anything else apart from tech or AI. Literally every single thing is AI here, but it's more matured. It's more contextual to how it is being utilized than as in just plain statement like, oh yeah, we're doing it. So that is about 15,000 plus attendees at Web Summit with over 100 countries, to what I know, that people are coming from. Like when you walk around, you see a great mixture of culture. And I think Vancouver is something for that as well. It's a great mixture of cultures. Either be people from around here, first generation, second generations, or people visiting. It makes a whole difference. There are over 1,000 startups across the 3 days, both across alphas and betas. I have seen lot of alphas, um, not as similar to what I saw in Qatar to an extent, where pretty much the offering was on the same scale. It's quite a bit different here. The variety of services that they're able to provide, or the products they have, and the scalability they have, like from ground running with an investment that they're seeking for, is really interesting. And these startups come not just only from Canada and US, but also from various countries, over 64 countries currently, who are at exhibition here in Vancouver. And I remember the second Lip Summit in Qatar, how it was more women orientated, more than 50%, I believe.
Yeah.
That's more than 50% startups were women tech or women in tech. And it's almost a similar sense here where about 44% of those startups are women and women founded, not someone say women, so women founded. The scalability of these startups is really interesting. I spoke to a few from the African region who are out here, from Asia. They really have some interesting products that the market needs. Who will benefit from them? It's up to see how people utilize it or how people want it. But I think it's really, really interesting to see what they have here.
I want to ask you something. I saw the opening night had the BlueSky CEO speaking.
I have a friend of Blue's friends who is on Blue Sky and Master, I think. Yeah, Master. So I know someone who is just Blue Sky, like someone who's really someone who pushes for it. Like, there's credit also about it. And I messaged right away. I remember you saying a long time ago about Blue Sky, and then I met her as well at the dinner later. It was really interesting to see and understand how Blue Sky came about. Like it was an incubation in Twitter. It's now, right? Just to like, you know what? Okay, we want to be part of you. We want to be an open web social platform, and this is where I think the thing is in terms of product offerings. So the way she explained about who they are, why they are. So they have about I think 35 million subscribers, about 3.5.
Yeah, I know because them and a lot of the decentralized social networks have been growing, and I know Threads even intersects in the same backend of what Blue Sky has been doing.
So at the moment, when I look at it, they have 36.1 million subscribers or active, or I wouldn't say active users, but users who are just running those. Now, would you guess with that much database of people working, what would be your workforce?
Please tell me it's around less than 20 people.
25 people, including the CEO.
Huh. I was close. I was thinking 20, but I was like, yeah, 25 was like, damn, with including the CEO. Okay.
And they haven't gone into advertising and etc. There's also investments, and the revenue stream is there. They recently launched a verification step process where they are verifying
Mm.
profile. And you don't need, for example, James Bond on there, and you don't need to tell anyone that you are James Bond. So they started the verification process, which I think just went live. And she spoke about other products that they're launching over a period of time where they scale it. Like they're very much agile. So when I being in project management, understanding all these things, I was very intrigued on how they scale things and everyone's input, everyone working in the company has an input into what's going out on. That
Mm.
there is something other social platforms, open web or not, in any way, should learn from these things. I don't think advertising is a way to go anywhere. Like coming back from Orchid and all those days, it was purely
MySpace.
social.
Yes.
Space. It was purely social. Everything anyone who did there was just connected people talk about it. Yeah. And just quickly going back to Web Summit, there is Startup Qatar here. I was surprised to see.
Great.
Oh yeah, they have a huge presence. They have a huge booth. They have people from all the small associations within Startup Qatar to try and invite people to Qatar. There is Turkey, there is Ukraine, South Korea, Nigeria, Portugal, and I think Italy as well, who are and various other trade delegations are also here from UK, France, people I met who want people to come and invest within their own countries,
Yeah.
in the prospect of technology and develop from there. And I think this is wonderful. It's an untapped, I think Vancouver is an untapped territory for technology with some really interesting people. There's an Institute of Technology right around the corner from here. There's a few right around the corner from here. It's really, and kind of, it's not just Vancouver, more to Toronto, Montreal. We have various other institutions which offer students the knowledge and the base to kickstart startups, ideas that can really empower and change things.
I mean, when you're talking, I mean, I would imagine probably at every other Web Summit event, Qatar itself would have it because they would use that to funnel people towards the Qatar edition, which basically starts off the calendar year. I mean, look, Qatar's right now is taking place in February. Rio takes place in April. Vancouver right now was right in May. Summer is quiet, and then you go straight to Asia. No, there's a one for Asia, I think, this year. I don't think they've announced it.
No, that was in Hong Kong.
It's Hong Kong, okay.
I can check. I can't remember when it was, but it's sometime later in the year in Hong Kong, and then they'll come back to Lisbon.
Yeah, so Lisbon basically is the main anchor one where they do it, and then basically Lisbon just directs people straight to Doha. So it's like I think they've planned it out nicely to geographically distributing it so that at least a good chunk of the presence within the region endemic to where they are hosting the event, a good presence comes in. Plus, along with it, international because then it's just like it's like bees. They go, then they pollinate every other flower in the area and everything. They're the same thing. But it's I mean, when you're saying startup Qatar and all had a big have a big presence in Vancouver, I mean if you had to give like a visual reference scale, how big are they?
Vancouver. So, I said startup Qatar being here in comparison to what Vancouver offers. So, startup, let's say if we take the exhibition for a minute, 2% of the exhibition for is occupied by startup Qatar. In a way where they have about, so I met roughly 6 people that I know who are here from startup Qatar and other administrative people. So, but like they have a team of 25 people that said who are visiting. So it's a big presence, and it's not just because over the last 2 years how we've reduced our registrations through QFC, through QDB,
Yeah. The
yeah,
incentive come
and
and set up, and then for 5 years you don't pay taxes and everything and all.
we have the entrepreneurial visas, we have investments. The last time the prime minister announced for $1 billion into
Yeah.
this one tech market. So there is money there. There is if you have the right idea, the right people, just come and start up over there. Why not? And with that, the reason I think everyone's out here as compared to maybe Rio and Qatar is Vancouver. It's it's emergence as a tech powerhouse to an extent because you've got the whole West Coast, so things are flowing out of Silicon Valley.
Hmm.
done. Like, you need to go sow the seed somewhere else. And that's what's happening currently, I would say, because the ecosystem in Vancouver, it's pretty big. They have over 10,000 tech companies that work across various different services and products. That if you have 10,000, let's say if you take about at least 1,000 to 2,000 people per company that employs, so you're looking at least 200,000 employees working in tech industry, anywhere from
That's
software
big.
to VPs, CEOs, etc. And they have some great tech giants and unicorns, like they have Microsoft here, they have Amazon here, they have Data Labs, they have Truth, many more, and there are many local companies. Like you don't need to be tech savvy itself. Like for example, Lulu, it's an Vancouver-based company, if I'm not mistaken. Exactly. Sure, but like they have offices here, they have offices in Toronto. They somehow tie into tech. They work with local companies that can offer them an easy way of e-com shopping experiences. These all tie into everything else. The company, like Vancouver, is a big spot for tourism for cruises.
Yeah.
Side,
Right here, the coast.
it's crazy that the four cruises parked. Yesterday, when I came in, there were three cruises ships parked out there, and they left, and there's other ones here which are getting ready to leave later today. So the flow of traffic, even if you're visiting as tourists for a few days, you're gonna find something quite interesting within the country itself. And geographically, the way it sits closer to US, just on the west coast, a couple hours flight from San Fran and San Diego, and 6, 8 hours down. If you go towards the east, you're in Asia. So you're not looking at going around the way around for us 16 hours to get to Doha. In a shorter time, you can be in Asia. So the investments that you can connect or the services you can provide to your Asian markets, it's much more easier than you would, let's say, to your African or Middle Eastern or ISC region in a way.
It sounds like I think for the first edition, ever since moving from Toronto to Vancouver, the city literally went out of its way to make sure that the event makes a big. I would say, maybe not. I don't know. If you were to compare the splashiness, would you compare it to the first edition of Web Summit Qatar, higher than that, or almost on the same?
See, for me, I was texting our lovely people back in Doha from Web Summit Qatar on how it is. I love sharing back with our teams back in Doha on how these events are scaling up and how everything is being organized because we started learning from the World Cup, right? In Dubai,
Yeah.
how to do things. We're still learning. We're still maximizing the best ways on how we can organize. And the way things are done in Asia or way easier in West here across this, they've been doing these events for ages. They know how to direct people, where to get in them, the access and etc. Everything. And so far, I was a bit skeptical before I came here. It was pretty easy to get in Yaso. Unfortunately, it
Define
was.
how easy it was.
Uh, took me 30 seconds to get in. I
Oh,
just
I
literally
remember. I remember how long it took me to get in with all the lines and everything. No, wait, yours is different in the first one. You were in.
I was inside watching the designers while you're already outside the first one.
Yeah,
And the
I know, because you went
second,
in the underground parking.
yeah, because I found access. So I tried the same trick this year, and they blocked under parking access as well. I could park the car, but I could not go up, so I had to go back up, stand in the line, and it took us about hour and 20 minutes. I was in like a student in the Doha heat. It was crazy. There's a photo which we can put about. I have a video of Web Summit as well that was just published where I'm there in the shot. I was the first one waiting in line for the media line to get in. But here, although there was a line for everyone else to get in, the time durations of how they started letting people in, the fast tracks and everything else, very, very smoothly managed. The only difference here is on in Doha, we have it across a single exhibition floor, like in DCC, for example. Uh,
Yeah.
the galleries are opened up, so it's like across the same. You don't have to go up and down, things like this. Here, it's at three different levels, which I feel works out very well for, let's say, media in a way. Maybe not because you really have to run around a lot, but for individuals who are coming in focused on, they want to focus on master classes. Yes, you go all the way level up to level two. If you're focusing around center stage and small talks and media and things like those, yes, you're on level one. and everything else. If you just want to come to the exhibition, see all the people exhibiting here, the other stages, the other talks, everything's on the ground floor, level zero, and it is nicely split. Didn't have any issues getting public transport, amazing as usual in Canada. So far, I like it. Uh, we still have a couple more days to go. Big announcements are expected later today and tomorrow. But to what I've seen, there has been a great impact of Summit participation from startups from previous events from Toronto that have raised over a billion and 1.2 billion in investment within a year. So Toronto could make a difference. So imagine now what Vancouver can make a difference with the investments
Mm.
in the industry. And this will not just be like everyone's all the focus on AI and then machine learning to an extent. So here, this is the difference I saw here. Like Doha, it was purely AI. Everyone's just like, yeah, AI. But then okay, give me in context of what AI. Here, I felt it's more ML. Like everyone's talking about ML models and how they use it and how they train it and how what the best you can get out of it. That's one thing. Then you have healthcare, so health tech, a lot of health tech in this region, which is very interesting. I haven't seen this in Doha. I've seen a bit of it in Lisbon, but not in Doha. Uh, right,
Yeah.
like although pretty much everything is here, it's something that we cannot compare to Asia. The way
Mm.
Asia has secured its fintech, it's just amazing. And it's a bit surprising. I haven't seen any Asian giants either in Doha or here in Vancouver as well.
I
From
think they want to just focus most on the Asia regions for now.
yeah, I think that is there, and sustainability and clean tech. So I think these are the main industry drivers that are currently driving the Vancouver tech scene.
Basically, the first edition on the Vancouver side has been basically machine learning and large language models, health tech, fintech. I think, unless I missed something right now, but I think it looks like those three have been the main. It's like a trident or four.
It's just amazing, and everyone you talk to, even if they are pretty much using the same product, the way they are trying to offer it to you is very different. Especially the ML models are very different as compared to what I've seen anywhere else. And when we talk about it, very first thing that I saw this all come out is after the opening with Paddy and the mayor of Vancouver. It was very interesting. The gentleman was sitting next to me. I didn't realize he was the mayor. It was
You're like, man, I wish it was the emir of Qatar. It's like, like, and like you have the mayor. That's good.
designs I can easily recognize, but I've never seen him. And then I started following him on Instagram. He has doesn't have a huge following on Instagram, which is surprising. But I think he maintains it more as an personal account than as a governmental account itself.
I'm
Funny guy.
guessing there's a separate account for that.
Possibly not that I looked up. I'm sure there might be, but I saw his personal account. The guy, great chat, invited for dinner later, met other people, with the finance minister as well. So
This is Khan being Khan, everyone.
yeah,
Khan knows everything.
it's just being in the right circles at the right times. And fortunately, I have a lot of people from the diplomat community over here as well, from France and Portugal that I met previously. So we just connected again, and from Doha as well. So it was really nice to see some similar faces, and then just get to know everyone what they're looking to get out of here. And that's what I mean. Like the opening night set the theme for the conference, especially with the first two talks. The first being with the second one was Jay Graber, the CEO of BlueSky, and the first one purely focused on AI Jerry Marcus, who's currently at NYU, and the way I wouldn't say criticize to a very high extent, put it plain forward for other people to understand because in an audience you don't all tech conference but you might not have everyone able to understand the deep levels of how AI is working with the modules. It was a very interesting line. I may not quote him, but I'm just trying to memorize. The solutions that are offered is stupid. You take Grok, you take ChatGPT, Gemini, anyone, the solutions, because what is AI doing? It is learning something, it is understanding something, and just telling what it is. For example, if there is two Yasers, and I say like, hey, give me a profile about Yasser, there could be Yasser, boxer, and then a Yasser, and an actor who died in a car crash some time ago, and he actually gave that reference for one of his friends who's a comedian actor, and this happened to him. Who he asked to get a his comedian friend went to ChatGPT and hey, make a profile for me, or give me a brief description of who I am and what I'm doing out there. It said to him he is an actor, while the guy is a tech industry giant. It's because there are contexts of where Yasser is mentioned and maybe something similar to is mentioned. I mean, like Brook also at some point, remember he said that I think it's Brook that said Elon Musk died in a car crash in 2012.
Oh yes, I remember seeing. I was like, that's hallucinations, and I was like, oh goodness.
It's solutions to a very this is where you do not have control. For example, anyone could for a machine learning platform that doesn't understand stupidity to an extent of like, hey, how do I make a homemade bomb? Would you give that answer to the person who's asking for it? Like, you should be smart enough to like, hey, yeah, okay, you're asking a question which does not have a relatable answer. So like, no, I'm sorry, this is something that you should not be asking, like, because at that point ML already recognizes who you are. You're signing to the platform. It reads your profile. It has read your previous prompts for the amount of days and weeks and months that you've been using, and it knows what you do because everything you're asking is building a profile of who you are. So if you kept on asking about tech, if you kept on asking about Write Me and Instagram posts, if kept on asking about Write Me, my Twitter captions or Instagram captions, it kind of knows who you are. It's going to get the personality and it's going to go build that. So based on that, when you ask a question that doesn't really relate to you, who you are, why would you want to give that answer? And this is
Oh,
what
yeah.
Gary kept on pushing for. I think the funniest thing, the whole started laughing. He said, possibly I'm quoting him, is like ChatGPT is on such hallucinations that even the Trump administration used it to plan its tariff plans.
No, no, not just that. It also reminds me. I mean, you've seen the recent news that OpenAI is now an AI data center, and the funny thing that came out of that was that everyone thinks everyone suddenly is talking about it on LinkedIn and be hoping to be the first just to brag and everything. Like, oh, everyone's gonna chat GPT plus for free. I was like, listen, go read into the news and details. I mean, people are like, look, they announced the data center. And as for bringing ChatGPT, they're probably going to bring it natively so that it's there on this data center in the Abu Dhabi when it's up and running. But I was like, listen, did anyone mention ChatGPT Plus for everyone for free in the country? There's no mention. So how the hell is everyone just constantly perpetuating it? They didn't even verify it, which is why all these, AI agents and all are actually putting a prompt as like, not every information is accurate to check and verify the authenticity of it as such.
You have to make sure, like when you are, it just takes 2 minutes. Yeah, you're gonna say like everyone in Dubai or everyone in UAE now has access to Chat GPT 5 free logins. Everyone's gonna rush for it, and that's where you're
Yeah.
gonna have disappointment. And this is where you also need governance. Is the government Ministry of Technology, is the government Ministry of Communications or Culture or industries able to understand the requirement and needs for it? So you're saying a country worth 3 million, 4 million population is going to get a free access to a specific platform. What's going to happen to OpenAI servers? And like we all happened to when Ghibli art became a thing, everything was melting
Oh
everywhere.
yes. Oh yes, I can't forget that. And that's yeah, that's one good context example to put it right through, especially when everyone was hopping into the Ghibli art trend. I was like,
And same thing, you just say because that's what's going to happen, right? Because I'm like, hey, okay, now I can make my emails better, I can make my content better, I can plan my stories for my next podcast or for my next all the content creators to prepare plans for what they're going to do. It's going to really work for them. But when you have sudden influx of this, it's not beneficial to OpenAI or any other company in the world. And
oh
this is
yeah,
where the conceptual information and governance is really, really important.
we're still talking about AI as such, and I mean, like with the keynote for the opening night is like, have you seen? Has there been sort of a like with all the people you've been meeting on the chats you've been having? Has there sort of been like a not a consensus, but some people are like, okay, who's probably winning this out? Is it OpenAI's ChatGPT, or is it Microsoft's Copilot, or uh, Google's Gemini and Anthropic, no, Claude by Anthropic?
So this is again, I'll go back to Gary Marcus, when he talked about AI and what it is going to bring next for everyone else. Where is this all going? Why is it taking huge investments? Whether it be OpenAI, whether it be Gemini, ChatGPT, what is everyone trying to get out of it? And I think I can't remember his book. I think it was published somewhere early 2020, 2019. It's called Rebooting AI, Building Artificial Intelligence that we can trust. It was based on
Hmm.
Pantheon and Random House. If you come with them, I think it was a very good read because it tells you exactly what AI is. And AI has been the thing for the last 2 years, 3 years, max, right? This is what everyone has come to understand what AI is. You get your MLs that do your thing, ChatGPT giving context and everything. What AI also is take your navigation systems, GPS.
Mhm.
GPS is AI. Your Google Maps, Apple Maps is AI. But that is unconstructed, restricted AI. You have a set of data and information that you've given in there. You ask, okay, take me from point A to point B. The smart way of it doing is like it's going to give you directions from to Vancouver on how you can go, you can work or drive or take a train or take a bus. But it's not going to tell you how to get to Mars.
Yeah.
Solution. And that is what's happening here. And I think he put forward a very good point where it said why it has taken a lot of time for ChatGPT to go from ChatGPT 4.0 to 5. And even like I'm sure you remember in between they had ChatGPT 4.5.
Yes. No, I can't remember which model it was, but yeah, I remember seeing
And
that.
this is where AGL, I don't know if it's ever gonna come or everyone's like, oh yeah, that's where it's coming. That's where the money is. And this is one thing with investors in this scene also, because if you look at a startup or an company that's going heavily into AI, you put some money in. Tomorrow it goes big, becomes viral, you get the money out. What happens out of it? Is it really worth for the investors? No, because they're looking at the money. They are never going to be worried about the product and its effects it might have on the ecosystems, purely financial. And this is where I believe we will see a slowdown, in my opinion, for anything AI over the next year. I don't think over the next year and a half, there will be any such huge advancements that's going to change the scene of what we're actually doing today.
Okay, well, I guess from after the whole AI un-AIing sort of everything, what what else sort of has caught your eye and ear, especially being that I bet there was everything flooding you with like, okay, what's hot or what's on the rise?
I've seen a few differences from the previous summits to this one. I've seen a huge media presence here. Uh,
Really?
yeah, big time. I think there are over 500 plus attendees from the media segment. We have Al Jazeera here. We have the
Really? Al Jazeera's did. Okay, that's good from the Middle East. Anyone else in the Middle East?
they are on the ground. They're covering interviews. They're making documentaries for Talks as well. So the teams out here, they have MIT, they have Financial Times, NYT, Guardian, etc., etc. They even have the China News Service, the Korea IT Times, seeing them walk around with the cameras, and it's not just like an interest in Northern America for people. They are taking things out away from North America as well. Even the speaker segment is quite mixed, although very much focused on AI throughout the speakers I've met and the sessions I've been to yesterday and the sessions I'm going to go to today, based on technology, based on travel industry, based on health and science, based on social media. There's actually a huge interest on social media and its users, from marketing, advertising to benefiting for content creators. Was it? What was the name? I'll tell you when it comes to me. They have been pretty much present out here. Not just Canadians, but I've seen a lot of American individuals as well. I think it was a huge, it was something that Patty asked at the opening section, like, how many of you are here from US? And like, half the room went up. So, like everyone's like, oh, well, we have no issues here. And I think even the mayor went up like, hey, we are welcome. Don't worry about what else is happening. You're welcome here. Please make investments in the city, and that goes to show, like what is happening out there in the world is way different than what is happening in here. Yeah. What do we have? What do we have? So we talked about the trade delegations. We talked about women in tech.
I just remember something. You said the media presence was bigger, like I'm trying to remember. I think you mentioned that they had an entire section blocked off for seating for media compared to Web Summit Qatar is like, yeah, it's a free for all.
Yeah. So the stage setup here, the center stage, somehow I think is smaller compared to what Doha was. The seating,
Okay, so smaller.
the seating is also still a few thousand people in there. Comparing to Doha, it was quite different here, and because of the huge media presence, they had a whole section on the right fully blocked for media. And I ran into people from across various countries and local institutions. How we do media back in Doha is different.
Yeah.
Um, Individuals, content creators kind of fall into that media market. But here, you have a published blog that you write once a month. You are media, and it's interesting because it's the first one. So I'm sure the whole idea was to get the word out there, get everyone talking about it, generate interest for futures to come. I haven't seen or heard the agreement that was around the Web Summit Vancouver, how many years they could plan to be here. I'm sure it's for the first 5 years for sure, and then we'll see where it goes elsewhere.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm guessing they want to sort of keep it within North America, given that, and then Rio is basically South America as such. So they have the South there. Europe also still caters, especially keeping in Lisbon, because I know they used to have it in Dublin, but Dublin or outgrew they outgrew Dublin's infrastructure, so they realized Lisbon was the best thing. Middle East and Africa, basically Qatar. That next year marks year 3 for that partnership. So literally, I think from after that they have to start probably discussions on whether they renew it or whether they look to move it to a different place. Like, I mean, just going a little bit off topic. So, I mean, South by Southwest has had an event in Sydney, and now they're having their first one in London. So apparently, there's been, given the nature of how South by Southwest, apparently some people are like, why don't you do South by Southwest Arabia in Dubai? I know it's a bit off topic and all.
And I think that kind of clashes with I don't want to say GITEX in a way, because GITEX is I think is the south by southwest of Arabia.
Yeah,
Tech,
but it's a very more formal. It's a much more formal thing as such. And
uh,
South by Southwest is very hippie.
it is it's very hippie, and that is the reason I think it might not work in Arabia. But you never know, Saudi, Doha, and Dubai have opened opportunities.
Well, I would think Dubai more because given that Dubai has had so much. I mean, think they're more open and all. I would imagine that the Dubai government would probably court them and say, "Hey, why don't you come and do South by Southwest Arabia here? A 5-year partnership." I mean, Dubai had a presence at the one in Austin when I went. Like, Dubai chocolate was there. Dubai's future Museum of the Future had a presence there. I still have to just edit the video just to show what they've showcased. They were giving a Dubai chocolates for free. Even when I met the two founders who started Dubai Chocolate, Farah Hamouda and her husband Yazan there. That's what to do for me to finish the video. But I was like, I think what's happening right now, I think Web Summit, I think, will be in Vancouver for a good amount of time because look, they were in Canada as like Toronto Collision for a good number of years, and now they've renamed it to Web Summit. I think they want to unify it because they called it Rise in Asia, so I think now it'll be called Web Summit Asia or whatever they decide to do it, or Web Summit Far East, and all. Given if they do it in Hong Kong again, which I'm hoping we'll see, but Web Summit Lisbon is just called Web Summit. I think that's the main anchor event. But yeah, that's me going off a tangent now. Back to thing. I know you've got a lot of your scheduling of at least with master classes and other things.
Pulling up my calendar for things that I have scheduled in for mine. There were some really like there was a session for what's next for creator economy. Like
Oh.
it's evolving. It's opening new doors for storytellers, and it's no more. I think at the moment, people are not just looking for monetization by being a creator. They are looking to evolve way more and support commerce, tools development, even it's very weird how we see it in Doha to an extent, where an individual is talking about food, talking about travel, talking about fashion, talking about cars. Influencer is something else where you want, if you're influencing in a specific topic, just be an expert in that and influence. Content creators, purely fine. You can jump from one segment to a segment because you're just creating content. Although then this is the thing. Content creation is something you either doing it on yourself and you're trying to monetize on your created content. Yeah, that is one thing. The second thing is when you are being paid, you are monetized in advance to create content. That doesn't be, for me, that doesn't become content creation because you are just doing a job that you've been asked to do, which and you become a service to provide that things to them. It's not content creation, in my opinion, in any way. And this is what was interesting. There's Jim Gardwak, who was the CFO and CEO of Webtoon Entertainment. I'm sure you've heard about Webtoon. They have a couple other creators on there as well. They have TVN Skybound President Glenn Jenner. So they are, talking about how digital storytelling can, from a social point of view, can become into TV or can move into TV or how a TV segment of it can become social. Because if you take the Asian content creators, I just love it how uh, short and direct content they create for e-commerce. They create, like if you go somewhere across in Shenzhen, okay, and when you keep that information straight and direct, you are generating engagement, and that engagement is going to get you monetized. And
Oh
this
yeah.
is, I think, the creator community is going, and it's becoming huge and huge in economy. Because at some point back in nowadays, when we had more Doha, which we started out of something of an interest because there was no community for it. We helped people, we helped institutions, SMEs, and things like that. We were the only group of people that was there at every other event in Doha who made a difference, who made a connection happen, who made things happen. And that is not existing
Before
here anymore.
before Doha Tweetup's overly commercialized it to the point that it just ruined the whole community aspect.
Yeah, and these things make a huge difference. And I think that's what's happening across this community at least, or what we know would have happened or could do so. And it's what looking forward to. It's really what looking forward to. And they had the only thing I did not, I wouldn't say didn't not like, would be such a strong word for me for that per se. But I would say the night summit. It was in town yesterday, comparing to the Doha Night Summit that we do, which has been at B12 or Doha Big Club over the last two
Yeah.
years. Completely different. It was very welcoming for me to actually hear this another open line to get a glass of drink and walk into the center stage area, which was very nice. I feel a change of, cultures, change of people, change of communities. I think it's if someone is going to all the web summits and experiencing this on their own, there is a lot to learn. Not just purely tech wise, but I think they should go beyond that. And this is something which started at the Web Summit Qatar as it's the inaugural. That's what we start with, and with Lisbon. we started the meetups, right? So
Yes. I think there's one for Qatar happening in the Vancouver one.
yeah, it's tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'll possibly be on a flight by the time that's happening. I'm still trying to see if I can spend an extra day. When you just get involved in these things, then you are just like loving it. So I've been here yesterday 8 hours, meeting people, attending sessions, making new friends, and like I've been to like 4 or 5 meetups so far. There was one for hiking, there was one for tech in Vancouver, there was one for people from India, there was one for people from South Africa, and these are like curated range of informal gatherings that are happening throughout the conference for people to
Mhm.
come, just connect, network, because you never know what you might get out of a single session with someone.
Yeah, I think we're no, I think we're still good on time. I think to wrap up because I know you've got another.
46 minutes, another 10 minutes. Yeah, yeah. I hope our listeners
I think
are in reading this or hearing this. The Web Summit
I'm guessing
was
Khan will have more to share. Yeah, he'll have more to share outside of the podcast for sure. But at least this gives you a little gist of, okay, first edition since moving from Toronto to Vancouver is like, oh, okay, I think it's in. So I guess the way you said it is like it's like sort of tempered, but not too lofty, or maybe somewhere a little bit higher than the Toronto one they did this collision. But now I think it's like, okay, I get the feel like you've enjoyed it, and then you just had a chance to like, oh wow, there's more here.
I have, and it's I wouldn't say eye opening, but it has been like insightful, seeing something different. We've been like you yourself, myself. We've been to South Office many times. It's more social, it's more fun to all the
Yeah.
conferences in Vegas, Adobe Summit, and etc. Salesforce Summits and all those things. It's just done nicely out here, and I just love it. I should also give kudos to the Web Summit staff, same lovely people that I've keep seeing from Web Summit in Qatar, Lisa and Connor and Sarah. They're all here as well. They have been very helpful in getting me meetings, getting me help set up interviews, getting me the podcast with as well. Was booked in on a slot. The first one here. It's gonna be a busy day for the team here as well. But yeah, day two is on. I'll probably
I
have
mean,
more later after day three wraps up, so we can do a Web Summit wrap up somewhere. Maybe back in the sky again. If we
oh, you
get
never
more.
know. Actually, yeah. Hopefully, a podcast in the air episode 3.
We should. I'm still seeing if I'm gonna be Seattle to Doha or Montreal to Doha. So far, Montreal to Doha looks okay. The flight, the amount of seats, same. But both
Oh, Toronto.
on a flight is so busy, man. So on the flight is all. I think we have Starlink on all of them. All the US sector, the 777s, and the full 777 fleet is packed with Starlink now. So it's going to be well worth it. And we will get more information on there.
And the next thing you know, they'll again pamper you. That will keep one of every menu item for you to try on the 12-hour flight back. Of course, Khan being Khan and everything and that. No, but I guess Khan. I think we'll try to sort of wrap this up. I think you've had your I would say cognitive eyes and ears open. It's like different, but it's like more fun and everything. But if you had to put a lesson or learnings that I think Web Summit Qatar 2026 should do, rather than just having more attendees into DECC, or moving out the food summit area to the outdoor lawn and everything as such, what do you think they should do?
Um, they actually have been amazing for their food trucks out here that like cheese and hot dog and stuff, which I really enjoyed. It's good. I love this. I love the conferences and things that happen in the West because you really get to explore things. But if I'm to do a wrap up on Web Summit Vancouver 2025, I would say it marks a significant milestone in the tech world. It's good to see a new city, a new country, having it exploring what the local market offers to the international market or the international market can offer to bring it to the local market itself. We're bringing in diverse voices together. breaking ideas, shared vision for the future. And I think this has been, I wouldn't, not a motto for Web Summit, but I would say it kind of is working for at every Web Summit so far is a vision for the future. Everyone is pretty much focused on what we can do after than what we can do today. Because everyone already has what they can do today, so they want to still offer
Mm.
something that can be different. And from the connections I've made and from the insights that I've gathered so far, I think it's pretty much clear. I mean, Web Summit Vancouver is the hit. We'll get to hear the final numbers, all the deals and everything that's been signed up for day three, so not to get the rapid report. I think it's a movement propelling. So I'm using some nice words. It's a movement propelling.
Khan's upping his vocabulary.
Yeah,
He's,
you know,
he's, he's
we
becoming even
use.
more sophisticated.
I think it's a movement propelling us into the next tech era of movement, and I think that Vancouver is ready to offer that.
Well, I guess that's a fitting end to this episode. Well, you've heard it first and foremost directly from my lovely good friend and co-host Gazanfar Khan on site in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada at Web Summit Vancouver. Good number of, well, I guess good number of learnings to take away, especially, as we still keep up with our story and path in bringing what's more on the MENA region to the world and what's relevant from the world to the MENA region as such. So Khan, uh, hopefully, I don't know, like you said, if you're traveling tomorrow, then you won't be able to be there for the last day, but I think you should be able to get a big chunk of what's happening on day 3. I forgot it started on Tuesday. I thought it was starting on Monday, so I'm off by a day and everything. But hopefully, I think you will have absorbed so much. Suddenly, you're like, okay, what can I go and do next, and what can we roll out from?
I think that's very much from a sunny Vancouver yesterday to a rainy Vancouver today.
Liquid
It's, uh,
sunshine is what I call it.
it's like 27 yesterday, not as hot as Doha. Usually Doha heat, but somehow I just felt super hotter than Doha here. Yesterday, but it was raining today when I came in, so
Minus the humidity.
mine is humidity as well. But it was lovely. Love being here. Love the city. Love the people here. Love what's happening here. And thank you for joining us here at the Summit Vancouver. This is
Yes,
one of Tom's signing off.
and this is me from my comfy home right now. As Yep, just me being me. And well, if you love what you've been doing, please do subscribe to the podcast and share it with your family and friends with our clips and, listen in. And hey, each episode also has a link with feedback, any themes you want us to cover, drop them in or any guest we're doing. We do have a few more guests being lined up as such. Schedules should open up, so we will be able to cover more on it and we'll keep you all updated. So this is Yasser Masood, all the way here from Dallas, Texas.
Khan from Vancouver here and Doha tomorrow. And a very goodbye to you.
The Doha day after, because you lose a day when you're flying back from here. Well, thank you very much to our listeners and viewers. And that's a bye from Khan, and that's a bye from me here in Dallas. So stay tuned.